Next up on stage, we have, linking into the satellite business, we have an interesting presentation on geo-information systems. I think you two, or you just one? Okay. So, well, Alberto, what can I say? I think you're an IDSA ambassador as well.
Yeah.
And, well, stage is yours. You're going to talk about what can we do with GIS and Gaia-X. Thanks. Yeah, pick one. I'll take, I think this is number 5.
This is working, yeah.
Works.
Hello, really happy to meet you. GIS side, market, data, new data economy. First of all, let's see if this works. Here we have 3 phases. From the right side of your point of view, Marcus is speaking, and from Huawei, he's the guy, he's the tech guy. They have the Butex solution, they deploy the data space, they deployed Gaia-X solutions, the connection to the cleaning house, everything that has to do with the technology is developed and is deployed by Huawei in the proof of concept on the pilot that we are going to see today. And let's see, as you can see, neither Marcus, neither Jose are here today. They were not able to come, so I will present everything. But you will find the contact later on too, so if you need to contact us, do not hesitate to do so. From TECNALIA, we have Jose Antonio Chica. He is the business guy. He has the client. He knows the smart cities, the HITS business, everything that has to do with the legal part, with the business, with the market. He is the main contact. And myself, Alberto from TECNALIA, let's say I am the data space authority. I am the coordinator of the proof of concept. I am dealing with the different partners, with the providers, with the technology, with the business, and trying to map this, you know, if you are familiar with the data space terminology, I will be the data space authority. Josian will be the business, the market guy, and Marcus will be the data space operator. And first of all, the Butex overview, the technology, the platform we are using. This is a commercial offering from Huawei. This exchange data spaces where you can build data spaces or you can join a data space with their connectors. You can read here quite a lot of details about the connection to the interfaces to the Gaia-X clearing houses, credentials. They are using Eclipse data components, data space components behind it. They are evolving the technology as everything is evolving. They are evolving with a data space protocol, with the different data planes, contour planes. They keep on providing a solution and evolving their own commercial solution because, you know, we have solutions nowadays. This solution works. You can use it to deploy your own data space or to federate this data space with others. You can try or you can plug your connector to this Butex solution and exchange data with other different connectors there. And let me highlight that they are, as they are Huawei, they have their own cloud. They provide the infrastructure too. They are thinking about not only the software technology that has to do with Gaia-X and with IDS, connectors and IDS technology, but with everything that has to do with infrastructure. If you need a data space with 3 partners, 10 partners, 10 connectors exchanging data, it's okay. You will need a little infrastructure, but if this is escalating, and crossing fingers that you will have more and more and more partners, more people, more companies exchanging data in a data space, you will need a huge infrastructure to deal with that. So it's really important for Huawei to be able to escalate, to hyper-escalate everything that they are deploying nowadays. Here you have a little picture at the right and some details about the Butex architecture, but long story short, you can recognize perhaps some pure IDS technology building blocks, some connections to Gaia-X clearing houses, some interfaces for the credential, for the identity manager, a mix, that is what we have nowadays, of different building blocks, and this is changing. Every 3-4 months, we updated this picture because they are providing different blocks. Because nowadays they are working like this, they are providing these solutions, but they are following the standards, Gaia-X standards, data spaces standards. This is really important for them because let me go back for a bit. As you can read at the top, Huawei is a Chinese company, the core is a Chinese company. We are dealing here with international data spaces. We will exchange data in Europe, but with China, with Japan, with international players too. So the infrastructure could be at the end of the, let's say, of the project, of the deployment quite complex, because for sure we will have different legal requirements and perhaps not so strong standards outside Europe. Let's see what happens, but they are dealing with that in the infrastructure. I'm focusing on this proof of concept, on this pilot, because it's not a pure project. We are working with different partners related to the urban environment, to the smart city environment, and that nowadays they have a business. They are selling and buying data, and they are using that data for construction, works, city improvement. And I'm not going to go in detail about the data spaces benefits, but they love the idea of data spaces. And they want them. They want to build one data space related to GIS, to this smart city concept. So we have quite a lot of partners, quite a lot of players, a real clear business case, and we are not going just to implement a data space there to do what they are doing now in a better way. But we are going to use artificial intelligence. Another part of the project has to do with artificial intelligence and dealing with, okay, we have quite a lot of data, maps, but we are not only going to exchange data, we are going to use artificial intelligence and try to create new data products, new business in this context. And this means not only a technological change, because we are going to use data spaces technology, but they will need to work in a different way. As you can think about, we will need a data space authority, a data space operator. Well, the last two roles, the data provider and the data consumer, are more familiar and everything is able to understand that. But for this business, it will be a huge change because they will use new technology and they will have new roles to link with. And as I said, I'm not going to read this, but you can imagine a city, quite a lot of data. Citizens provide data, vehicles provide data, the Green Deal is here, contamination, pollutions, mobility, transport, works, a city growing, quite a lot of services for the city, for the companies working there, people moving around. Well, it's a really complex environment, and they have quite a lot of problems and not so many solutions. But for this particular use case, we will have this data space approach to work with GIS. Incolan, and you can read at the top, is the company, the organization that it's a core of different GIS solutions. They compile different maps, different elements from different partners, from different companies, and provides again, different maps, different solutions, different map. Just imagine that you need to perform new works in a street, you need to install there new pipes from water, you need to know that street, you need to know what's there, electrical lines, lights, telecom lines, everything that has to do with different works on different streets. Incolan and their partners, they work about that, and they work with this kind of contents and with this data. In the video, you can see this later on. You can see how they have a website. You can plug in there. You can pick the data you need. You can download some maps, some PDFs, some different elements, and you can use them for your own construction, for your own deployment. Here you have some Incolan data about the business they are doing nowadays. I'm not going to stop here, but you have some data from Incolan there. And in this video, perhaps you can see more real-life example. This is a video about a real example about how it works. They have different maps with different layers, with different kind of information there, and a user can enter there and can pick year, can pick different information from the different city areas related to the electrical lines, to the pipes, to the different installations they have in there. And they are able to provide the information at the right to the utilities that need to perform different works on that environment. As you can see, this is a pure web application, and they work over there. In the proof of concepts, in the pilot, what we are going to do is use this kind of interfaces, these maps, this interaction with the final users, but clicking on some areas of here, you will able to request, okay, from this area, I will need the electrical lines here, and the pipes I can find behind this, and I don't know, the benches and the width of the road there. And clicking there, you will be able to get this kind of maps, this kind of information. The interface will be the same. You will use your regular, your well-known graphical user interface, but all the information that is under these interfaces will not be PDFs, maps that somebody downloads and somebody uploads to the application. We will use different connectors and Gaia-X technology to perform this data exchange and update these graphical user interfaces. Just a few lines. Again, I'm not going to read this, but just in case you wonder about this, about the artificial intelligence, the new businesses, the new use case we are going to do, you have here 4 highlights about them. And again, this is something they realize. We have tons of information, tons of data. We can do new business. We can provide new data products, new data services. Let's do that using artificial intelligence. And just in case you have never seen a data space, oh my God. Perhaps you can mute the screen of the slides, please, somebody from the organization. Thank you so much. Let's see if I go back and I come here again. Much better, thank you so much. This is a demo that we did a few months ago that it's quite similar. Here you have a 3D map when a user is moving around and it has not named data, just a data at the right side. And it has not a specific particular data we need here. Here you can see the wizard, the Gaia-X wizard. Here you are seeing what's going on behind the scene, behind that graphical user interface. Here, somebody configuring this data space is getting Gaia-X compliance, Gaia-X verifiable credential. Here, well, of course, you can do this programmatically with the IPS, but for the demo, we are using the wizard. And here you have the graphical user interface of a data space connector, where you can link those credentials and you can fulfill those elements. Here you are configuring the connector to get the information you need, blah, blah, blah. Everything, but just in case you have never seen a data space running, this is a data space configuration using what's happening behind the scenes. Of course, in the infrastructure, we have different pipelines about what is happening, what you need to be done, what is flowing around. It's a bit old. Do not laugh, please. It's a bit old. We have new versions, but this video has a few months. But just to illustrate that at the end of the day, we had the data transfer there really, really quick, that we with that at the connector, we got the final information. And after all of this that you are not seeing, this is happening as behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, what you will have is on the same spot of the map, you will have the information, the old information, and the new information updated. Quite a lot of things that will happen without the final user even realize what is happening behind them. We can use connectors, we can use Gaia-X technology, we can use quite a lot of things just to work with data spaces, really easy, we hope. And in this business case, for the boot-X scenario, here you have a preliminary map about Incoland, that is the core and one of the participants. At the left side, utilities. We have a town hall. We are working with the public institution too. And you have here a little mapping about what main or core elements from the boot-X solutions the different players will connect with or will configure or will use for the deployment or for the boot-X usage. 1 minute left. And the reason why is that because at the end of the project, what we will have, the pilot, what we will have is a clear view about, okay, you are working on a regular way, you have your business running, what you need to work with this new technology, with this new paradigm, to work inside data spaces. You need credentials. You need to be Gaia-X compliant. Your service to consume the data need to be a bit different. We need to provide clear instructions to the future data providers or data consumers in this data space about what they need to do, what we are going to offer from Vutex, what they need to program. They are going to use a connector as a service. They want to deploy their own connector. We will like to offer all the possible solutions and all the possible technologies and map it on here. We will be upgrading this slide because we will not only provide the technology, but these manuals and these clear indications for the data space users about how to use the solution and how to get inside this Vutex and inside this Gaia-X and IDS environment. You know, this Gaia-X Academy, we have a really good training material. We hope that we will be able to produce something similar to what the Gaia-X Academy people is doing in this way. And finally, final slide. Yes, you have at the right some clear ideas about who will be the data space authority, the providers, and let me highlight that this is a reality. This is a proof of concept. After this proof of concept, after having this material, they will go live, they will go to production, and they will improve their business with this new technology. And well, a final remark about Huawei. This is a commercial provider. We are really happy that we have more. It's not the only data spaces as a service, data space connector as a service. There are more providers on the market nowadays. Even the technology is evolving. They have solutions and they are providing solutions on the market. This is great for us. But for example, in TECNALIA, we are a research foundation. We need to keep on researching. We need open source code, open source idea. This is what we are doing with Gaia-X. This is what we are doing with IDS, with Eclipse people are here, with Eclipse initiatives. Commercial solutions are great, are there. Perhaps you have some customers that they will need this kind of support and these kinds of solutions, but we will need, for sure, this open source approach and being able to deploy our own solutions and our own approach. And this is really important to the market. If Huawei and more companies are deploying their own solutions, we will never be sure if they are following their standards. We will never be sure if they are really Gaia-X compliant, if they are doing the right things on the right way. So everything that we will have on the standard way, on the Gaia-X community, everything that Gaia-X will provide will be really useful, not only for the research institution, but for the market people too. Really fast, so sorry. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for the nice presentation. You know, over 10 years ago, when big data was the big buzzword, somebody said trying to retrieve data from the internet is like drinking from a fire hydrant. I think that was a very interesting example to show how you can actually manage to get that under control.